Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Bissonette, and I have a book here that I'd love to share with you. It is one of my favorites, and I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it before. It's called A Tale of Two Beasts, and it's a book about perspective, and it has two different sides of the same story, so it's pretty interesting. So I'll read one part of it first, and then the next. A Tale of Two Beasts, The Strange Beast. And there's a quote I'd like to read. There are two sides to every story, and then there is the truth. And that's the truth. I was walking home from Grandma's house through the deep, dark woods when I spied a strange little beast. He was stuck up in a tree and whining sadly. So I decided to rescue him. Feep! I will call you Fang, I told him, and I wrapped him warmly up in my scarf and carried him safely home. I gave him a lovely bath and a gorgeous new hat and sweater and a delicious bowl of fresh nuts. I made him a beautiful house and gave him Lord Rex to play with. I took him out for lots of long walkies to keep him fit and healthy. And I showed him off to all my friends who loved him nearly as much as I did. Ooh, amazing, awesome, so cute. That's what they're saying. But for some strange reason, the little beast did not look very happy. In fact, he was looking rather hot. I hope he's not sick, I thought, and opened the window to cool him down. But then something terrible happened. Look and see. See how his face is red? Oh, what do you think is going to happen? He threw off his clothes, leapt out of the window, and ran away as fast as he could back to the deep, dark woods. You were right. That's what was going to happen. And here she is calling, Fang! And he's going, Feep! I wanted to go and look for him, but Mama had other plans. Dinner time! Ugh. Bath time! Ugh. Bedtime! Ugh. I couldn't sleep. I missed the little beast and wondered if I would ever see him again. But then a small, furry shadow appeared at the foot of my bed. The strange little beast had returned. He seemed quite pleased to see me, and I began to think that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't that strange after all. I wonder why he came back. Now, that was the little girl's version of the story. Let's find out what the other version of the story is. A Tale of Two Beasts, Part 2, The Terrible Beast. And here's another quote for you. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Charles Dickens said that. It's a good book that he wrote too. I was hanging from my favorite tree, swinging happily to the birds when... I was ambushed by a terrible beast. Hey! Grumph? She growled at me and tied me up and carried me off to her secret lair. She made me disgustingly clean and dressed me up in a ridiculous hat and sweater and tried to make me eat squirrel food. She kept me in a tiny box with nothing for me to do and nowhere for me to hang from. She made me walk backwards and forwards and backwards again for no reason whatsoever. She showed me off to a herd of even wilder beasts who were just as terrible as she was. I had had enough. I made a cunning plan and put it straight into action. A, B. A plus B equals freedom. Free once more. Woohoo, he says. Grumph? I raced back to the deep dark woods before the terrible beast could catch me. It was peaceful in the deep dark woods. A bit too peaceful, perhaps. And also a bit wet. In weather like this, one could do with a nice warm hat. I snuck back to retrieve it under cover of darkness. The terrible beast was waiting for me. She seemed quite pleased to see me, and I began to think that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't that terrible after all. The end. I hope you really enjoyed that story. I really like how it makes a person think that in any situation, people have different ideas about what's right, what's wrong, and what's going on. It's all about perspective. So I want you to think about the story and think about if there was a time that you maybe thought something was going on and maybe another person thought it was going on differently. And maybe you can tell your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa or aunt or uncle or someone all about that time. All right, thanks for listening. Bye.